diplomats, yeah. G-Squad playing game, jet set, Air Force generals. If you didn't know, I created all the tribes of resistance. Anastasia, I be flying the distance. The native culture, they be trying to get it. The land we came from, they be trying to live in. My mama said, you better stay down. They better get down and lay down. We used to be in a council of fire, bitch, way before they called it Jamestown. Ohio and Illinois and Indiana, then I have a house up for 8 miles. Detroit, the Iroquois, they was coons that took the village to a grain town. We from the Great Lakes, yeah. About whatever happened when they was in Belgium. Listen to me, homie, all of the vampires, they flower pilgrims. They was the only ones creating shit we call raping and pillage. Don't even know what was happening when they was taking our village. Don't wanna let me make my own decisions and waiting for Frenchmen. Then there was manipulation and they got replaced by the British. They was just sitting around thinking ain't nothing greater than Britain. Yeah, setting up colony force and then they start making us scrapping and smearing up everything we had. Getting invaded by England. They became all of our handlers. Then we got abandoned by Spaniards. Everything that they were doing was worthless. My people got through in the furnace. They started laughing when they was reacting cause that was amusing the journey. Some people always be easily hurting. Shadow what you gon' need more of. Already took all our lands, it's nothing to battle for when you in Europe. Shout out the Mayans and Incas preparing us. History shows us gonna be almost scary shit. If you wanna know what being a Karen is, all you gotta do is look at American shit. Great Lakes, yeah.
Other than that, sad now. We're gonna do that real quick. Now I know I'm kind of a little late, so we're gonna do an open panel, just specifically open and about other stuff and connected to stuff tomorrow early. Right now, this is gonna be a good logical discussion, so you can learn more of this history of this goddamn land, get you spiritually tapped in, and also help you understand the Bible a little clearly, especially when you're reading the Book of John. You know what I'm saying? We gotta make it things simple. You can't just be lost in your mind and like, was John a real person or wasn't he? Wasn't. Spiritually, seeds get planted. Mentally, that seeds start to grow as a characteristic and things of that nature. Physically, somebody start acting that thing out. And they might slip through their tongue and come up with the word or what that energy represent. It takes us into the Book of John. What book is the Book of John in? And what book is the Book of John not in? Who got colonized first in Africa and all these other things? Old Testament. What happened when they came to the New World? New Testament. What's in the New Testament? Book of John. What's in the Old Testament? Not the Book of John. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think Matthew, Mark, or Luke is either. Until you interact with the Native Americans and understand the four corners of the world. Then you want to replace it with some white man and be like, well, maybe Michael. You know what I'm saying? And Michael. Now, Mike, once you get I with Mike, like Knight Templar, that's Spanish, or that's England, or that whatever white man, whatever. If night was neat, it would be Native American, and it wouldn't mean nighttime. Our nighttime mean you or Manu. You know what I'm saying? or you know what I'm saying. So and those just early terms. They have been updated and things of that nature. So depending on what tribe you come across, they may have another circumstance for it, but it will have the vowel of U or O in it. You know what I'm saying? So understand that too. Now, if they're making a picture about nighttime, not specifically representing nighttime itself, like the darkness, then it may be something else. You know what I'm saying? Like Nubian, Nibiru, these are Native American terms. Nubian. When you get I being sounded out as E, you know it comes from Native American. And if it say it's French or Greek, these is not even things that they were speaking. It's a pig gig. That's a interpreter language. When two or more nations that's not native to each other start to try to understand each other. So we're building words. So you might get on Google and be like, this is just really just Washi Shu trying to claim everything. But the very instance of how English is made is pig. So don't let Google say it's not pig. When English, on this land is Native American words mixed with whoever we got colonized with in certain areas. So the word gonna be slightly switched or stay the same, or if it completely changed, it's completely their shit. So virgin is their shit. Night is their shit. But then when you get the I with ye, and you get E in a term that go more like hey, then that's native. And it might just be plagiarized or it's the same. You see what I'm saying? So that helps you understand that quality too. So we get into Indian. It's not Adian. You know what I'm saying? When you get into Africa, it's not African. You know what I'm saying? So Africans over there, even who was in rulership before they got colonized by Britain, wouldn't have called it Africa. They would have called it whatever their language was and things of that nature. You get it? So when y'all have art, sometimes when y'all Pan-Africans, y'all got to check yourselves in Moors. When y'all have arguments, y'all starting point start from Briticana man, because when you natural to a land, people is coming to you as a man to build a pig egg language. Not things just start with white man saying something and everybody just agree with it automatically, not even knowing where the word came from. No, there has to be some type of interaction and year process to get it established for everybody to agree with this interpreter language that we now can communicate with each other to make trading and things of that nature more sufficient. So understand nuances to things. You know what I'm saying? It helps you better discover your literary history and your mental history, the one I created, where it goes beyond who wrote it down for you, and you can understand the character and why you reacting to certain things. Then go to the literary history, and now you're able to find yourself much more faster. Even if somebody got a literary history with their bias behind it, rocking you to sleep, you'll be able to see what part is rocking you to sleep and what part is the truth and what part that you need to go on as far as a train of thought and a line of reasoning. So even stuff you've been self-victimizing or blaming others for, you'll be able to get back on your own feet to be like, no, this was my responsibility. And the things that's actually blocking you, you'll actually be able to see it. And some people may not be getting blocked at all. They got on their problems be themselves and shit like that to stop their creativity. Then you do have people who express them creativity, but they get blocked from other reasons based upon the way that they're expressing their creativity. It ain't the what, it's the how. And if you're expressing it on this land like a Native American, even if you ain't Native American, they'll do a psyop on you. Or if you act like a free man, or however the case may be, because those qualities is the very same thing that they created books and things to go against, to prevent from happening again. You know what I'm saying? When you want to establish and maintain some type of order. Now, when it comes into aliens, now aliens are foreigners. So you have to understand it as pilgrims, and pilgrims is getting funded by Britain. So when we get into this concept, it's helping you understand why you always see in a tuxedo or a bucket hat, no matter if it's a white boy creating some other type of circumstance around it and calling it something else, like all these the white collar and blue collar terms, or whether it's religious terms or Jew or Illuminati or Mason, or whatever the case may be. But it's just okay, it's just pilgrims, and they're just updating pilgrim culture, right? So at some point, when you start to understand that, you start to see, okay, this is the Americans, England, Queen Elizabeth carrying out Briticana rule, just a little brother type of circumstance. So before Britain was heavily wanting to be established based upon making this the new world for them too, and other people like French and Spain and stuff like that, pilgrims were just escaping the pillaging that they was going through. So they had another type of individuals that run from their homelands when stuff get tough. So, but by them being the little brothers of some type of practice that's being done over there in England and stuff like that in Britain, then they're able to come over here and want to establish their own thing. But you can't really have your own thing if you're on someone else's land. So this becomes the Indian Wars, right? So this is where all the wars take place. But there's a nuance to it. It ain't colonization. Colonization come after the fact. The Indian Wars is just us fighting white people. You know what I'm saying? So, and then them calling it a war. When we do something, it's a massacre. When they do something, it's justice. Because they just want to live on this land. And then they want to be the only ones who live on this land. So they don't want their big brothers coming over here to create no shit, just fund them. So this was their little fight, fighting Britain and French and everybody. They want to be the only ones who come over here and the only ones who stopping them from being free the way they ran from because they couldn't be free is Native Americans because this is our land. And then having to deal with that spiritual concept and learning what that means and is it right or wrong or not, which brings us into today. So every story is going to be some fake story about smallpox and whatever, like, but the main story is just about we just getting invaded by pilgrims all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And then them coming up with different stations, then their brothers coming around and crushing us in just for them to still be funded and had their colonies or whatever the case may be once the Native Americans get out the way. So when we get into Virginia, so this is how Virginia is built. Now we got into earlier how Indian country have got remixed, but how it got built and how the aliens came over here. Now, a little bit before this, we had aliens coming over here on the East Coast before they kind of reached in, but it was all kind of the same time, but it gets substantiated because when you get into Thanksgiving and things of that nature in New York and Wapanaj and Lenape and coming down to Virginia, then you get into the Powhatan and stuff like that, then us CATAWBAs and shit like that. We was heavily resistant tribes. We wasn't tribes that was trying to get civilized. Plus, we're at a time where we're the main player, so we're more in control. We the ones with the government. We're the ones with the military, the war chiefs and stuff like that, right? So they're just learning our ways and trying to establish themselves, bringing more and more of themselves over here, and us not kind of getting down with that in some way, in case it be. So we start fighting. So as us and Pilgrims is fighting, this is what you call the Indian Wars, aka just us against the Americans and Britain coming to establish some form of order, but really just help out their little brothers in the end that we all discover. So get French out the way, allow Spain to make Spanglers to make deals, and allow Russia to be a distant relative to help with this universal power to help establish our little brothers to extend Briticana government, but still they cry too much. So let them have their way and just become the Americans, England and Pilgrim. You see what I'm saying? And today, what you call as what they trying to say is G, but it's not even quite that. That's a different thing. We're not gonna get into that. So, but when we get into the mind state, now you have to understand the mind state of the alien and why they're coming up with alien movies and Foreigner and stuff like that, and why they're calling us God's children based upon our spirituality, and we're indigent. We're the ones that's inside the body. Thank you so much for the Cashapp. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. UFO. I think UFI. Sorry about that. If I messed up your name, sorry about that. Now, because we take pride in that. There's a long history of our shit getting plagiarized and us having to check that. So we don't do that to others. People we respect, we don't look them straight in the face. We give them respect, and we make sure we respect people's name, whatever they call themselves. We want to make sure we say that right. Even if you think I'm saying a joke and I'm asking you because it's genuine, I want to make sure I say your name right. So if I plagiarized it, that got erased and replaced with saying it right. Okay. And that's just giving respect. So even if I don't get respect from negative people, that respect still get replaced from others, and I'm always open to not want it from specific expectations. You see what I'm saying? And that allows me to always be fulfilled and not be looking at a certain area that I know won't be fulfilled when people lack something they can't pour it in another person's cup because they're in the business of taking. You know what I'm saying? So they can't fulfill. They're in the business of searching and taking. They take love. They in search for love. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. Now, when it comes into the mind state, before we get into the religious concept, I told you, it's 3 concepts to these books, especially when you get into the Bible and you get into the New Testament. So we're dealing with the spirituality of it, which would be the Native American quality. They threw us in space. The esoteric quality, the mentality, and then the exoteric. what's played out physically and what's common knowledge. So then that'll take you into the history and the money. But don't follow the history and the money if you're trying to understand the esoteric concept. Follow the practice. That'll help you understand the esoteric concept. So esoterically, you'll be seeing a similar practice, no matter the history, no matter the money. So you'll be able to know who's just doing something, regardless of where they at the moment and what word that they're using at the moment. They're doing that practice and they're bringing that practice on different people's lands, or they're copying a practice that's on somebody's land, and you'll be able to understand all the nuance in between it and stuff like that, and what's this and what's that. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get my cat in the back. That's why y'all probably kept seeing me suck my teeth the previous about my cat and my way in the back where y'all would call a wisdom tooth. I ain't never really had to have my wisdom tooth pulled, but I wouldn't have had a cat. But for the most part, look, check it out. So when it comes into Virginia, right? So Virginia is interpreter pig egg language, this bastardized Native American / Spanish / French / Britain language, what we call English today, from, you know, who was settling over here from England. And then when we get nah. Now that's a certain transit that the sun produced on the land that play more on the feminine side than the masculine side, right? So that'll be the nah concept. Something that could force out, but it still got the feminine energy. So it got masculine qualities, but it's feminine in nature because that's where it's coming from. So this is what we call is masculine because it's outside of us, the land, but the land is something that receive in. You could be in a womb, somebody's land, body. You could be in a cave, right? Like how we kind of make, how they making an allegory of the skull, but for the most part, you could be in a cave or something that's dealing with the land. So we're calling that mama's bosom, the land. So they're not. So when you hear Indiana or when you hear Virginia, now they're taking their R, making an R, Cherokee and all that, putting an R and shit, and V and C. And then for the most part, this is when you know it's Jesuit controlled. And then for when anytime they got a V, C, and then a lot of times Q. Pardon me. So well, a lot of tribes, for an example, the Susquehanna, they got colonized. So they wasn't Susquehanna until when that Q got in there, things, it might have been a Sussa something else, Susquehanna Hoken. But when it comes into them coming in, they switch it up. But at the time, it ain't switching it up on purpose. It's for us to understand each other, and that's when words, instead of it now being Minnehoking, it turned into Mahoney River. See what I'm saying? But certain shit they keep the same, like Lake Erie. That's the Erie tribe, the Cat Nation and tribe, and the Huron Native Americans and things of that nature. So, Delaware. The city Delaware is just where the Lenape got pushed out with a bunch of other tribes and got pushed in that certain area. And then whatever Jesuit was there was like, all right, y'all Delaware. So I'm saying? Now, since the Lenape was so much of a main player, the word ain't going to be so colonized. So I'm saying? That's just like with the French and the Iroquois. They was, Haudenosaunee was main players. So it's going to be still more Native American, but made specifically for the foreigner to understand it too. So the foreigner is accepting the full word, the native come up for the foreigner to understand without input at all. See what I'm saying? So it's like stuff like that be going on. Now, when it comes into so that's how you get all these mixtures of names. But when we get into Jamestown and when we get into Virginia, now Manifested Destiny. So this is where we get their Virgin Mary, their Bible from the Old Testament, but updating it for the New Testament by already having a relationship with us for like 50 years at this time. Because I think right now we're talking about what? 1600s, mid 1600s. So they already been here since late 1500s now. You know what I'm saying? So that 1400 shit is this trade route. They wasn't really living over here. They started coming to live mid 1500s, probably late 1600s. We starting to get upset. We're like, come on, man. My grandmother just died. Our grandmother is pretty much 100 years. So when someone say 400 years, that's not a long time. That's just four to six grandmothers ago. That ain't, and really technically 4. That I'm just giving nuance to it. You see what I'm saying? But your grandma lived about good 80 to 100 years. Just chalk that up to 100 years because you got your mother that's already living. Even if she died, that extend the rest of the 20 years. That'll be motherfucker 100 years. So let's not over exaggerate. Let's put things into simple context. Like this things, we're getting rid of shit, burning up paperwork and history and other shit, even doing it amongst themselves. Group of Masons went up and burnt up a bunch of Jews books and shit like that over there in Russia and shit. They like, it's deep. It get deep when we get into, hey, we're trying to update something. We don't need nobody doing anything that was before what we updating. Even if we in a time where we remember it. It just happened last week. We about to burn all this shit. How's that? So that kind of shit be going on too. Now, when it comes into Virginia, so you got the Virgin Mary, Manifested Destiny, and them dealing with the Powhatans and stuff like that. And then during this time, there's so many different kind of relationships going on. We have a lot of pilgrims who have already a lot of relationships with a lot of other tribes, like the I think the POWATAN and a bunch of other tribes and things of that nature, where relationships amongst each other become flunky because this the coon energy starting. We don't want to do deals with Washisu no more. Then you have others saying, well, Washisu ain't so bad. But then we all get frustrated when once realize Washisu ain't so bad, but then they're bringing other people, and then it's seeming like they're more in authority over the area that you was at first. But then it becomes spoiled relationships because it's like, I told you so, seeds start to start. Where who already rebelling against that type of shit have to say I told you so to the motherfuckers who coons, and then the people who coons having to be like, well, there's already shit we already did, so we ain't really cool like that. But now what? And eventually we had to get cool. That's where other confederations start. Because eventually Powhatan got downsized and had to join with a lot of CATAWBAs and stuff like that and shit and marry in with us. So you could be CATAWBA right now, and let's say you got a foreigner that created the blood quantum system, and the blood goes straight to a foreigner. And let's say you're expecting it to go towards a certain tribe that did accept getting their blood. And CATAWBA, CATAWBA is the made-up name itself, but then it might not even be the person who was establishing with the settler to call it CATAWBA, like King Haglar and shit like that. And other dude, damn, what's his name? Peter Harris and things of that nature, right? And then there was other Arachnotoids before that. So here's the thing. It might have been somebody from the Lumbee tribe, Watery tribe, or something like that, right? Making interactions or Tutilo or something, or it could be Wakama, any tribe in that area and things of that nature that accepted getting their blood took and just was in the CATAWBA Federation. Then once a Mason come and say this our land, do that $5 Indian thing, the blood thing only going to go to them. It ain't blood quantum at this point. It's just regular DNA. How they got the Alaskan, the Native, the African, the Freeman, the Asian. And then for the most part, here's the thing. Even if you're looking for a specific thing that they did have, it ain't the Iswa. It ain't the actual larger percentage of the tribes that was coming together. So you're just lost in the sauce, and somebody could tell you you ain't Native. Yet you're the main portion of Native American that made up the collection of tribes to be that name that someone in that place right now could tell you you ain't, and less Native than you, or ain't even Native at all. You see how that shit go? See what I'm saying? It's deep. I gotta use the rest of them, y'all, so we can break down Virgin Mary and the religious aspect of it. So that's what it means to be an extinct Native American. You're not extinct. Your blood ain't going nowhere. Your spirit's still here, but forced assimilation. And first with your tribe and freedmans that they was bringing over here that didn't want to be assimilated, and Asians and stuff like that, and the Hispanics or Latinos, something like that. Pardon me if I got that wrong. Because I know y'all got a history amongst each other that y'all don't like each other for other shit, and that goes deep into Mexican, and that a lot of these things go deep. A lot of y'all grandmothers in today's time, no matter how old you is, because that's like 100-year span. A lot of y'all may have heard stuff, no matter what ethnicity you is. You already in the melting pot, so you probably heard, yeah, Puerto Ricans don't like Mexicans. Yeah, Indians don't like white people, or like black people don't like Hispanic. Like you hear a lot of shit that your grandmothers witnessed white man programming, and us having to act like this sometimes because none of us necessarily have this nature. None of us have colonizing nature. You know what I'm saying? So none of us would even made melting pot type stuff in the first place. So we all learning how to relate, and they're trying to figure out why everybody they bringing together, it ain't more people taking their side. You know what I'm saying? So this is where slavery come from. It wouldn't be no slavery if everybody just took white people's side. Trust me. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? You can see a coon every day. Now, but look, check it out. Right? It's just they side be fucked up sometimes. There ain't nothing wrong with them. There ain't nothing wrong with white people. You know what I'm saying? Just sometimes they ideology, they culture sometimes. And that's a specific group. Not even all white people. It's a specific. You know what I'm saying? It's a specific. All white people ain't in on it. But then white is vague, just like black is vague. So we talking about certain Spanglers, certain Italians, certain Germans. Like, you know what I'm saying? We talking about some like secret team that think they superhero aliens and shit. You know what I'm saying? And somehow down the line, stop giving a fuck about woman, even the white woman. A lot of white women had to create safe haven with us because dudes start having nightmares, waking up shooting animals at the wrong time of the day, talking about, I just want to see if my gun works. Oh, no. White woman, like, where a native at? Where a damn free man? You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Then get caught. All this something, just like when natives or freemans do something, it's a massacre. When they do something, it's justice. All this sudden, she wanted some release, get caught. All this sudden is great. All this sudden is forced. All this sudden, you know what I'm saying? Wait a minute. Everybody get blown up now. Shit, now they got an excuse to work their guns on more than just animals now, and then cope with their mind and say, oh, they was acting like savages. They was acting like animals. It made me, oh, I'm saying it made me do that. Everybody make you do nothing. Dude, you had nightmares, dude. You got lost. You wasn't on your homeland. You lost spirituality and shit. So let's start having nightmares and shit. Nightmares about being hungry on a boat and getting helped by us and not ever wanting to feel like you in the lower position again. That's like nightmares to white people. Like, never had nobody put me in a position that I'm the one that got to say please. I'm the one that got to go with somebody else's laws. What the fuck? Yeah, right. That's a nightmare to the white boy. That's a nightmare. They had to deal with that for a couple centuries. You know, they had to deal with that for a good 200 years. You know what I'm saying? We that 300 year, 400 year we here right now. You know what I'm saying? Shit, they ain't been dealing with that since. They ain't been dealing with that since. They got all kind of books in the Vatican and be like, oh, we got to go with this one now. So we don't, you know what I'm saying? Let's go with this plan. Let's go with this book. You know what I'm saying? Whatever time to wake up. What the natives was talking about. Oh, at this time, this group of spirits coming. Oh, we on it. We on it, Johnny. You know what I'm saying? I'm that. Real shit. We is gonna block this right here like that because I don't like the feds that's being here obvious. Like y'all know Jeremy a fake fed or whatever like that. I didn't block the same page so many times. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Nobody care about y'all small dick. You know what I'm saying? So you want to come in here and say big balls. But y'all been trying to find pills forever. Y'all been trying to find y'all hairline forever and shit. So of course that's on your mind. You want to be busy and be a pervert on somebody else's channel. Go on somebody German channel. Go on that channel. Why you don't like your own people? It's like y'all hate yourself for some reason. Why y'all hate yourself so much? You got them trying to join into everybody's conversations and shit. It's try to steer the direction in. Hey guys, we all is one. Nobody said we wasn't. We ain't all one the way we think. That's what we talking about right now. You don't get to steer narratives and keep using celebrities to distract us so you could jump in with a conversation and use AI bot channels to try to say, well, I don't know, man, y'all not even in real life. Y'all don't even think like people in real life. Like, it got to that point. Y'all don't think like people in real life. Y'all somewhere trying to cope with that. Yeah, because I'm not in real life. I control shit, man. Ain't nothing going to change the fact you came on somebody's dick and ass. I don't give a fuck what you cope with. And whatever genes they had, you got a small dick. DM. You could come up with whatever you want to. Avenger movies and Star Wars. I'm saying. But look, check this out, right? Religion books. You're going to be coping for a long time. Y'all been coping for about 2,000 years. Now, check this out, right? Now, when it comes to, it took about 3,000 years for y'all to realize y'all ain't shit. And it took 2,000 years for y'all to build new coping mechanisms about it and shit like that. I said that we here today. We can't go before that when I was here and shit like that. Everybody else was just dropping dick. But look, check this out, though, right? When we get into, Virginia. So Virgin Mary is creating a new version of something that was already there. Something that was in England or whatever, and then them bringing it over here. Their sicknesses poison each other over there in their churches and bringing it over here and shit like that, right? Start poisoning everybody over here and shit. So for the most part, when you get into Virginia, it's using native terminology with their terminology as a sarcasm and saying this our motherland, not y'all's no more. This motherland of Mary, manifested destiny. And we got this New Testament, King James from King George. And then for the most part, we're going to name our Mary motherland, Jamestown. You know what I'm saying? So when you read the King James Bible and you go into the book of John, you're reading about the United States General Pilgrim before they was generals, John Adams or John, whatever his name is. And that Pocahontas is just an allegory. It wasn't even actual. It was a lot of women. When you use in English, it's used to generalize things. So it's a pig egg language. It's just generalizing. It ain't the detail and the nuance. So yeah, Pocahontas could have been Powhatan's somebody's daughter, but it's an allegory of what they're doing to all the Native American fathers over there in Virginia and kidnapping all the women, fucking them and murdering them before they get to back to England and shit like that. And the smart woman a lot of times was teaching them about trade routes and shit like that. So that's what the Pocahontas allegory. It's like them stealing the concept of manifested destiny and even making us involved with that shit. You know what I'm saying? So Pocahontas is the land that the Powhatans, after that got colonized and named Powhatan. It wasn't even that name either. It was Hanashikokan, something like that. And Pocahontas was the town. See, when you're looking at it from the spiritual concept, the woman, the spirit be born through the woman, and the woman is the land, and the atmosphere is Father's breath, the overall spirit, right? So we got a lot of alignments, and then when all these could fit in one thing, that'd be the great thing. So we call it the great spirit and stuff like that, and many different nuance and astrological and astronomical transits to point to what's going on that's greater than just astrology and astronomy. You see what I'm saying? So the allegory of Pocahontas being kidnapped is she got kidnapped by Virgin Mary, so Pilgrim people. They took our land, kidnapped our land, and put a phallic religion thingy there, pillar flag there, and took our flag from there. Right then, physically, there's a lot of Pocahontas. There was a lot of Native Americans they kidnapped and things of that nature, and a lot of the men try to defend. And this is where you get that concept of kill all the men and the sons and stuff like that, and the first daughters and shit. So their whole concept was if the men fuck the woman, that mixed child is accepted because of the father. This is their way of trying to claim rights and be native before they became Mason and search for light, try to become our council of light. You see what I'm saying? And their DNA is not strong. So the spirit never be their spirit that match the percentage scale. It always be a Native American that know how to mix the percentage scale to make more of the genes and the mind, something that the Native American could go back in. So when the Indian spirit jump back into the mixed body, they don't do nothing but take more of the mother side and start fucking more again to make more of the washing machine cycle native, or if they fucking freedmans and stuff like that. And in our mind, we was doing this with them when we was kidnapping white women. We make everybody native. Eventually, you in this washing machine cycle. Like, this our thing, because we're trying to save our race. So we're mixed with freedman. We're kidnap white women. Free woman. My bad. Free woman. We're kidnap the white woman. Free women allowed us. We're kidnap the white women, Asians, and all. And this is how you get the multitudes of Native Americans. After not allowing white man to grape us so much. And being the man, too, and bringing the man back. And the woman making sure she puts some type of spiritual hex on the child that she got raped by or forced with that old version prostitute. You're forced to do things the white man forced you to do to survive in his world over here and eat. So the spirit in the spiritual world punched the white dude's spirit out the way, because the percentage scale don't be large enough mentally to condense and be the organs and the gene and the blood. So the Indian spirit jump back in, and here's where you get all this resistance. But when you're growing up, the white man be thinking, oh, little Joseph Brant, or oh, little corn planter, chief corn planter, or you're going to be the head of all your people. And once these cats turn 18, 19, they go completely back with their people and completely rebel. So white man like, all right, damn, this ain't working with them. It's still the Indian spirit in them. We ain't kill the Indian spirit. The Indian spirit keep coming back. Then they try to do it with the free man. The free man keep coming back. Then we already mixing together as native and free man. It's creating more resistance. So it's like, God damn, what is this? Then this is creation of chattel slavery. You know what I'm saying? So this is that early stages of things too, coming from the East Coast and spreading in westward, and then coming more westward, and then deciding we need to move the natives westward. Not us just coming to move more westward. They're looking at this like it's a problem, and they're our problem from profit. And they turn profit town and us being prophets into money profit. They take anything we do into something they can benefit off of. Bills, profit concepts, spirituality concepts. Turn it into a religion. You see, you get it? So you got to look at it like this. Let's use alien. Native Americans will be considered the real aliens, but we don't call ourselves aliens. It's something we're doing, and we just say we come from the stars, built the world from the underneath, and we here. White man would take that, being foreigners, and take that concept and try to control it, and then say we the aliens. Now, here's the thing. This is where you get confused and all the religion and the names and stuff like that, and movies and stuff. Yeah, the white people is aliens because they're foreigners, but what they're doing to be aliens is the Native American culture. So let's say you're watching the Avengers. Every Avenger is with the Native Americans was coming together to create bands to resist, and we called ourselves heroes. They took that concept and say we're the real heroes. See what I'm saying? And replaced it with their stuff that they didn't do. Based on we just own it and it's sarcasm. So now you get how they changed Jesus to a white person, Gizus, and turn it to Jesus and turn it to a Jesuit. You get the nuance now. It's like a sarcasm. So you believe in Jesus, so you believe in white man religion, but the white man religion is based on Native American culture that they conquered. You get it? So when I say you worship Native Americans, dead Native Americans, you catch the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, you don't understand white man sarcasm. You don't understand how it's a template they use to colonize so you can worship the white man as God. But what they're doing to do that is what the Native Americans is actually doing. So at the early time, this is what makes us God people, not calling it God. Not having no single spirit God thingy that they're calling. And them trying to control it, them having one manifested destiny, so our culture becomes some one God monotheist thingy that they got. See what I'm saying? You get it now? So it's like, oh, we conquered they shit and we are what they are. And we're going to make the whole world believe that. So when the whole world believe in something, they don't know they believe in us, our government. But they don't know how we made the system itself. Us learning from Native Americans and then how we got rid of them. So this is what makes us the Dame Dash and makes them the Jay-Z. You get it? we can't be in a way because we become the kryptonite. Because we're just doing something being ourselves. And being ourselves is something they took to be able to convince others that there's something that they're not to get their colonizing to work. See what I'm saying? So when you believe in Jehovah, you believe in a white person, a Jesuit. But the Jesuit came up with Jehovah from interacting with us Native Americans and how we was running our government. So this is why you will never know what they're practicing, but they never practice what they preach. Yet, you see a lot of sarcasm being made. So when you get the Avengers or DC Comics trying to protect Metropolis, it's an allegory about Native Americans coming together to try to protect their land from aliens. But then they make a movie about them being the Avengers fighting the aliens. You see how as a psyop is in reverse in the spiritual world and the physical world? In the physical, they're the foreigners. They're the aliens. Spiritually, they use esoteric in the mind and be the spirits in these positions to make the movie to make you think they're saving the day from Thanos and the aliens. But in reality, they are Thanos and the aliens. You get it? And then you're cheering on the white people that's acting like the Native Americans in the movie, but in real life, they came up with the script because they're the aliens and Thanos. You get it? So now you understand what the Jew is. That's basically the concept of the Jew. So when they say it's Jewish sentimentism, the actual Jews, when that actually was real, was the Native Americans who was civilized, who got like the Cherokee and stuff, who and Chickasaw, they got that they joined the CATAWBAs too after a while, but who got civilized, so they was walking around as the white people saying, don't harm them. They're accepting or assimilating. See what I'm saying? That was the Jew. Now, when you get rid of the Native Americans and make them forget, white people is throwing their rock and hide their hand. Now they become Native Americans through the psyop called Jew. And this is how a Jew is running around acting native. So when they're on the news channels, this is why you think it's important when they say it's Jewish sentimentism. But it's literally white people making themselves important. You get it? It really don't even mean anything. Because when you put it in natural concept, why would a white person even be on this land and don't do that quality for Native Americans if you're actually trying to help Native Americans and they're native here? That whole Jewish quality only makes sense for Native Americans. Other than that, it's just white people on other people's lands making themselves important, and you're in a psyop version of it. You know what I'm saying? Of how they're doing it. That's why they always come up and be like, hey guys, it's the Jews who's doing everything, dude. No, it's the white boys playing as Native Americans and Masonic energy to fake being native. So they're practicing confusion. So these is who want to act like demons and stuff, basically. And don't believe in anything. They're just using it for money and shit. And banking systems. So that's how you get Jamestown and Virginia. Right? You get Virgin Mary, manifested destiny. Virginia being the motherland of that. They're married, taking it from our land. And Virginia, and calling it Virginia. And calling that capital or stationary energy where the practice is going to be practiced at. The King James Bible. And that's going to be the head of what extends on the rest of the continent. As you see, the Pilgrims start to invade us everywhere. It don't even matter if they wasn't. If they Spanglers. They all had the tuxedo. Whether you go to the Great Lakes, Great Plains. They all bucket man hats. So they tell you they're all the same people. They're all going off of manifested destiny, whether it's the Spanglers, the British, the England. They just started it off. England has started it off. The Pink Pilgrims has started it off. But wherever you go, you're going to get that bow tie or tuxedo tie. And that's letting you know it's Pilgrims coming over here taking Native American shit. So Pilgrims just became cowboys over the time. United States Cavalry over the time. Jews over the time, Illuminati over the time, the Briticana establishment over the time over here, the PSYOP over the time, Illuminati over the time, and just running everybody's resources. That's what it boils down to. and trying to throw your rock and hide your hand so you don't see it in that simple concept where it's really just ignorance on the highest level, basically. But so that's Virgin. Thank you so much for the Cashapp VI Izzo. I appreciate that for the bottom of my heart. So this is where you get the bucket hat and the Jewish Shirley temples and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Taken from the medicine woman on the East Coast, especially dealing with the Powhatan and things of that nature, and certain men over there that was doing these things too. So this is where you get that establishment. So those certain practices and stuff. So all you have to do is look at it like this, right? Or how you find a handler. You'll look at a foreigner, an artist, a celebrity, actor, or actress, or whatever the case may be, and whatever they're recommended to do, all the way down to nail polish. It goes to a specific scripture, a specific practice, and a specific scripture and practice that's a Jesuit or a Mason that got raised up to play that position once one died. So once one died, you get a Lewis, raise them up, and then replace them with that position. And then they're the 7 degrees of behind of people controlling that characteristic. Then they'll send you lawyers and all this other type of stuff as recommendations for you to uphold that character, or however the case may be, as always making money off the Native American. So you could be a rapper that they recommend you to get a face tattoo, permanent. We didn't have permanent tattoos. We had face paint and stuff like that. So they'd make you look black and white colorish with some type of, like, their culture, Jew, but tuxedo, yet it's an imitation of what Native Americans actually did with war paint and stuff like that. So it's always a white man sarcasm of, we took Native American shit over here. It's like Native hobbyism on the highest level. So if you're an actor or actress, every movie you play is about how the foreigners came over here and did something negative to the Native Americans. For an example, let's say you're watching zombie movies 28 weeks later or 28 days later, whatever the case may be. That's about poison, beyond smallpox, and us showing up at the fort and trying to figure out what's happening to us. So in the white man mind, they make sarcasms of it because you had a lot of strong, tall Native Americans and stuff like that. Don't even let them think that red hair white people, that it was Native Americans with red hair. That's trying to blend in with our culture. They'll run in their mind and make an allegory. We're getting chased by all these animals and giants and creatures and stuff like that. So we're getting chased by giants, we're getting chased by stuff like that and things. No, they was getting chased by Native Americans and they're being sarcastic, running around us trying to figure out what you just did to us through the food and flour and that we were frying with and stuff that we taught y'all how to cook for it to be that Thanksgiving. And y'all was like, there's a lot of food and stuff and pumpkins over here. We can have this all for ourselves. And then Thanksgiving became negative. And so what Thanksgiving was just y'all being broken hungry and for a good 100 years or 70 years over here. And then once we get to the 1700s, y'all getting ignorant after learning all our ways. But in the meantime, y'all was just broken hungry and dirty and didn't wash your ass. So it was a Thanksgiving, aka we welcomed you in our home, and we treated you as brothers and sisters. So that's what Thanksgiving was about. We all could sit at the table and eat. These cats took that concept, created Jesus, Michael da Vinci, Leonardo, Last Supper. Hey, this is the last time we have to eat with them Native Americans over here. Took all this shit, made New York City the Big Apple and shit, all that weird shit. You know what I'm saying? Took the whole shit. But that's the sarcasm behind it. That Last Supper is a sarcasm of the Native Americans and saying that's the last time we're going to have to do that with them over here. And they mixed it in with our spiritual system, the sun cycle and the 12 houses, because we see the whole continent as a longhouse. So people are the longhouse, Haudenosaunee. They took that concept and made the picture and put white people all over it as who was coming over here to eat our shit. You know what I'm saying? And saying they was each position of the sun going through the 12 houses, the universal longhouse. It's like they're taking our culture and replacing it with them, acting it out on earth, trying to play God that they came up with as a title in government. So government means God. Government is just the covenant. And the covenant between God. God just means a title. And he in Coptic means white. So white God, white authority, white government. white power. You see what I'm saying? So it's saying white goes first, black goes last. But we're not talking about ethnicity. We're talking about like a concept that they're trying to take from everybody else and do it physically and then look at they scan. Hey, we're this concept. Even coming over here, we was calling ourselves black and white woman and man and tribes. Blackfoot, white tribe, there was medicine woman, white feather, the white woman of the sky. These are Native Americans naming themselves. They say, hey, our skin's something like that. So we're that. And we come from far east. We're that negative thing y'all think come from the east in y'all mind. Like they just taking everything and just like replacing it. You can't have your own mind. You can't have your own land. You can't have your own privacy. Not with Washishu around. You can't have your own language. They got to know everything that's going on. Every pin drop. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand these things. Like Indian, they even plagiarized that, called it an idiot. It ain't idiot, it's Indian. So it ain't Spanish or anything, it's native. They're just plagiarizing our shit. The Indians, they're idiots. Engine, let's make car engines. You know what I'm saying? You know, they're plagiarizing shit we came up with. Why would they plagiarize shit that they came up with? That's dumb. Why would they be sitting around plagiarizing what Christopher Columbus came up with? And why would a whole bunch of Native Americans disagree? Hey, what y'all call us in this? Oh, okay. No, that's some pig us agreeing to terms and conditions. And at that time, white man ain't want to get punched in the face. We was more in power at that time. So you got to understand that. When it comes to that, the peace treaties, all the peace treaties is written in Indian. You know what I'm saying? So that's an agreement right there. We are agreeing to these terms. We're not looking at a paper and be like, huh, what you call us? No, this has been a long 100 years already of being like, all right, we established this, what you gonna call us, and then creating confederations of establishments for that to be the thing. Hey, that's just what they call us in Indians. This is what so we're the Indians here. Indigen. I'm saying Indios was the original language too, because you got to understand it look at it like this, right? Because y'all don't know everything, because y'all not in the cult, right? You don't understand the nuance behind Trump saying Kamala, she don't look Indian. Because y'all be like, look, Kamala was like, I'm black. Y'all was like, hey, Kamala ain't black. First of all, that's the first psyop. Black people don't know what black is. Then she ain't Indian either. You see what I'm saying? Now, it's nuance to that. You'll be like, she is Indian. I'd be like, how? The first thing you're going to say is, because she's from East Asia. That's what you're going to say. She's from East Asia. Okay, those are people who are mixed with Hindu shit. Arab and Asia. So when Trump said, Kamala, she don't look Indian to me, if you in the cult, you understand that through layers. Like you killing multiple birds with one stone. You're updating, still using Native American Indians as prisoner of war and erasing their history. You're convincing black people that they could be indigenous. You're still confusing black people thinking that they're black. And we got a puppet that's getting ready to confuse y'all. We started calling India way after the fact. For an example, right? Christopher Columbus. Why would he call us Indians, saying that he mistaked us from people in India, and he never even went to India, and they never even called them Indians? So why would he call us? Why would he be mistaking us to be something that he never called people in the first place, and only started calling them that after all the Indian wars and after all us already being in history as Indians? You know what I'm saying? They got colonized in the 1900s. Before then, they wasn't India, and they wasn't speaking this language, Hindu, that's still Arab in Asia. So I don't even understand. So when Trump said Kamala, they was killing the cult be killing multiple birds with one stone. Y'all not equipped enough. Because if you ain't got the blood flow, if you ain't got no indigenous, if you ain't indigenous and you ain't got a piece in you that's kicking the other shit ass, you're not the spirit that was here when these things was created for you to understand the nuance. So it's things that ain't even nuance at this point that's normal, that even people who ain't main players that's based upon nepotism wouldn't even understand, yet they're doing what I'm talking about. Kamala probably ain't even in on it as much as how I'm able to explain it. She probably know a little bit about it because she's in it, but I'm able to give it to you clear and raw because this is my land. So, and I understand what's going on with my people and how they're doing my people from them being a people. So when you look at and how the whole Jew thing, that's why she's married to a Jew, because it's a white Arab Asian connection in Africa and Asia. So she's an East Asian. So she's an Arab and Asian. But then this is where you get the Arab that didn't mix with the Berber, so it ain't the white man with the blue eyes. It's the Asian and the Arab came out of Genghis Khan mixture 5,000 years ago. So this what Kamala is. So it's not unnormal for her to go with that, to be with that Jew. You get what I'm saying? Y'all don't understand. So that'd be probably how much she understand it by her books. But without a book and just being here, being native, here's how you get it in a more clear nuance. When Trump said that Kamala, she don't look Indian, and then her having to say she's Indian, that's maybe where she confused and just may know a little nuance. But what Trump meant is, y'all in India, none of y'all are Indians. Y'all are all colonized, and we called y'all Indians as a psyop to a lot of other mental psyops we was creating in the middle of getting rid of Native American Indians culture, the actual Indians. See what I'm saying? So it's a way to get rid of Native American Indians over here. Then the Indians who don't know themselves say, hey, Christopher Columbus mistaked us. We're not Indians, we're native indigenous or something. So it's a way that the native who don't know themselves to still be like, I'm not this anymore. It's like, it's weird. White man got it so deep. Because they've been doing this for a long time. So when people die and the ones who take it, they got the book. They got the writing down energy. That's what everybody else don't be doing. And we be trying to have oral tradition because we got a long history of every time we do try to do something with them, they use it for monetary gain. So we can't tell them a dream. We can't create a language with them and write it down without them using it and taking it and then Xing us out of it. So we had to come up with, no, it's just oral tradition. No, don't let them know nothing else. Then they figured out a way how, well, we're just going to get rid of y'all and just act like we doing what y'all do without knowing the nuance of it. And then our government crash all the time. You know what I'm saying? So they just like, they don't know what they're doing, but they try to do native shit. So for the most part, that's what Trump meant. Trump meant that, yeah, the Native Americans over here, they don't remember themselves. And ain't nobody in India, including Kamala Harris, ain't Indian. That's what he meant. It could be people in India claiming they Indian, and over here they're claiming they're Indian Americans, like African Americans and Asian Americans. They're claiming they're Indian Americans. Straight colonized by British Colony. You're completely lost. Just like Africans who call themselves African. A Britain man came over here and we created interpreter language, pig-head language, and then he created a term from basically blending in with us so much, his language became this bastardized Native American / Spanish / Britain language, English, and then named Africa then. See what I'm saying? So Africa is really native / English. It's Africa, not Africa. It's Africa. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, they're just taking our concepts and taking the concept and creating words around it and saying, well, this is these people's motherland. This is these people motherland. So African never can speak for themselves. That lets you know they're fully colonized. A person who run India can never speak for themselves. That lets you know they're colonized. The Arab rulership. So when a person say Africa, they're colonized. They didn't come up with the native tongue. They're fully detached from their people that would have came up with it. So either they never had no spirituality and they just came into colonization based on those early times, or white man colonized y'all so much that y'all let white man make the whole world Native American. But white man replacing it with it's white man world. We're just using the Native American witchcraft on y'all. You get it? So when you got the Holy Ghost and you say, oh, I got the spirit, and you start speaking in tongue, white man is laughing. These people don't know what they're saying. The Native Americans actually knew what they were saying when they were saying hallelujah and all this stuff. And the Native Americans actually knew what the Holy Spirit was. And until we see a Native American come back and say, I'm back and stuff like that, that's the only one we gonna believe. But we've been doing that over the time and time. This is why they keep us shadow banned. Any Native American, the real Native American channels you see, they ain't got no views. They all shadow banned, from the elders all the way to the young people. They all sound like me though, or they up here doing or they telling you about the history, telling you about the all the shit. So all right, before we end this, let's break down the religious aspect of it. Now, the religious aspect, when they was taking over Virginia, right? And calling it Jamestown and shit like that, right? This takes us into the gospel, the book of John. So the book of John, right? Its primary focus is on divinity of Jesus Christ and his identity as the Son of God. So this is the mind of Homeboy. Damn, what's Homeboy name? Damn, I forgot Homeboy name. John Smith. John Smith. This was, he thought he was the Son of God. God is white government. He's a son of, took our concept of being a son of the universal government and create their synthetic version to capitalize off of. So he's a son, this will become masonry now, but he's a son of their motherland, right? And so Jesus, taking Jesus and stuff like that, right? After it's updated, it's already plagiarized and they wrote it down for you to get it within its context. It would have been named something else at this time though, right? So the Son of God himself, right? Distinguish it from the gospel synoptics, which focus more on Jesus as the king, aka John Smith being the president over there and servant of their manifested destiny, the Son of Man. Them thinking in their mind, I'm not an animal, I'm a man, and let's replace all with their creatures and things in the stars, our face, our man face and woman face. You get it? So this is where you get the concept, kill the Indian spirit and raise the man. They don't believe in a spirit. In their mind, they're the man. They're just themselves in the mirror. See what I'm saying? So they're changing all the spiritual qualities, even animism, and they would put all their face there. They almost started it, doing the Libra concept, and you know what I'm saying? And the Gemini concept, and the other one that's a man. You know what I'm saying? They almost did it. Now, for the most part, the I am statement. John records 7 I am statements. This is us teaching them that quality of that Moses going up to the top, coming down, and relaying that to your people, and us creating the 7 fires, 7 bands and stuff, like how they took over the 7 bands that was in Cherokee, right? But mentally, we got a concept of it, how the holy ones teach us. So they stole that and called it the 7 planets. But it teaches us how to make 7 days. And each day has its representation. So it'll be honor, wisdom, knowledge, passion, morality. It's like it's 7. Gluttony and greed. But this is what we're trying to control in the happy hunting grounds, so the lower octave versions don't get played out on Earth. And if they do, we fight fire with fire out of love. We're destroying something out of love to eradicate something for the land. They turn Arfida into their Spanish term, fire. Now you get I with their language, fire. Ours is fida. So if it's supposed to be PHI, they changed the language with their terminology and just put an E there. So you think you sounded it out. But it's fida, and bring fire from the sky with their explosions and shit. And their bulldozers and shit and things of that nature. And so that's where you get that concept. And then when you get into there's what John witnessed, the 7, he witnessed the Native Americans teaching them that. Or you will still be seeing them practice what they preach. You see what I'm saying? So John includes many Jesus dialogues. Him being a general over here, writing down his interactions with the Native Americans and our teachings. So he could write it down and claim he teaching it. As well as 7 specific miracles. That's what I was just breaking down. To demonstrate his power and authority. Him turning it into technology. And said, we the only ones could do greed over here. We the only ones could do love over here. You see what I'm saying? So y'all get that to this day. They the only ones can have M16s. You get caught with them, you get 15,000 years in jail. Get it? They're the only ones could grape and pillage. You do that, you get hit with the book. They could be the only ones to do RICOs and sex traffic and drug trades and tobacco rings. You do it, you get a big meats charge. You get it? They're just updating what they started in the most harshest way with us Native Americans. So theological depth. John delves into delves. That's also a Native American term. Into hidden. That's a Native American term. It ain't hiding. Hiding is what they like to do. And hiding means something else. Their hygiene and shit. And then them plagiarizing it. Hidden is us being Indigen, the people that's in the tent. So what's in your personal tent before we practice that energy inside and then practice that good relatable reflection, then when we self-project outwardly, it's more relatable. We can make a tent together. We can make a teepee together. You know what I'm saying? So it's the intent. Intent is a native term. It ain't intent, it's intent. They're getting these terms from us because we was the only ones creating tents and shit. So all right, and it everything we do outside of us, we give a representation how it represent an area inside of our body. Cave or skull. White man to take that, create technology and make a building. Like we have buildings too. Every city is structured in the way we aligned it. It's just replaced with better technology that we all still needed to do. They just control it now. So white man didn't even come up with the architecture. For an example, look at this. This is the same way how they did New York and Manhattan, Lenape, Indianapolis. You see that? Now look at the center. Downtown is how we always established it. The only reason they showing a dinosaur, that's an allegory of we destroyed the Native Americans. Dinosaurs is a white man's sarcasm. It ain't. Dinosaurs didn't exist. Now when you see that we did that, the way it's etched out, they're still doing our Adina Hopewell building. It's just updating. We not changing nothing. We're just updating it. That's why the Mohawk Native Americans are the Skywalkers. That's why I'm DoelowDaPilotman, Flight Starwalker, Star Wars and stuff, right? We're just redoing shit, and then people get tired of getting slaved out, so they have to bring more foreigners to do it. But that's literally it. White man ain't doing that, nothing by themselves. Not even the architecture. You know what I'm saying? So the lands is still the same. Just replace that with longhouses and replace that with, like how y'all might be seeing the firemen houses and stuff like that. That was just Native American houses and big ass mansions and villas and stuff like that. We had that. They make y'all think they brought that over here. No, we had Native American mansions, all that type of shit. The longhouses, the way houses is Native American shit. Updated TPs. We updated the sculpture of what a house is. We made what a basement is. And all they didn't have basements. Everything would be ranch style to them. They didn't have, because they don't have the mound concept. Everything will be a jail, no ceiling, no basement. Everything will just be blocked, crushed in, no space. That's what they keep bringing from England. Now, by them being so sarcastic, they made New York mostly like that. You know what I'm saying? And then Philadelphia and shit. But after a while, they start to realize, like, oh, this is bullshit. Let's just stop that and do more of the native shit. You see what I'm saying? But they still etched it out around the same kind of shit. So, peep game. So that's when it comes into, damn, I had another point before oh yeah. Now, when it comes into, oh yeah, that was the point. So, oh yeah, focus on belief in eternal life. The gospel main goal is to lead readers to believe Jesus. So the main reason Native Americans is fighting back because we're not trying to assemble in the white people ways. And their way is not a religion. Their way is making people work for them and not have to do anything and settle on other people's land. That was it. You know what I'm saying? So Jesus and experience of the gift of eternal life through faith, aka they had faith that this was their land. And if they could destroy us, that gave them the meaning that it was right to do. And this achieved by presenting Jesus' teaching and actions in a way that encouraged belief and transformation. Them bringing Knight Templars over here. And what we got today is like Moors and Israelites and stuff like that. So the way they teach for the white man, but they teach as if they was the native, but yet they're going against the white man. And the white man got them in a psyop to put them all in a box to be able to control them, civilize them, or destroy them, regardless if they think they're going against the white man or not. You know what I'm saying? And the white man is able to be like, I'm the real Israelite anyway. I'm the real that anyway. I'm the real native that took this land over. And then they need to get rid of Indians, Native Americans, so they can walk around proudly and confuse themselves so they can actually start believing that. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we're going through. Then, or we in America, ain't we? We in New Order, ain't we? Ain't no other history. You could say, no, they didn't do that. how's we here today then? That doesn't even make no sense. You got foreigners coming over here. That's what alien mean. You got Native Americans being downsized. You got the words being plagiarized. You got a religion being put over here. What are you talking about? That ain't in that Bible. That ain't talking about here. I don't get it. What are you talking about? So you'll be in your mind like, because even when y'all hear me say stuff like the freedman and the Asians used to take our side and go against the white man, and the white man didn't like that. White man probably try to cover that up online with fake AI channels and be like, this is a made up story, and people try to. What else would have been for us to even have Tuscarora, Seminole, and all that type of stuff? What you think people not talk? People just pop out of thin air, and we get new people, not new people, but mixed people? No, this is people interacting. What else do you think they talking about? Like, I don't get it. What else do you think people who was working on a railroad track, who else do you think they was dealing with on this land, being more of the people already on this land? Indians. What else do you think they was talking about when they was running from not wanting to be slaves and then coming into our places we already had established? What do you think Native Americans and freedmen is talking about? So that would be dumb to be like, that ain't what happened or whatever. Like, what the fuck is you even talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, use your mind. The fuck you think the whole Civil War is about? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, what the fuck? Like, is y'all retarded? But yeah, so that's just telling you what's on these people's minds. So this is how you get God becoming white. All and every concept, the government becoming God, and white man playing God as government in its natural state. At this time, it wasn't used to manipulate. That's what it was. And that's why the killing had to be and all that type of stuff. In today's time, it's not showing foreigners that they brought over here that that's what they're doing, but mentally, this is what they have to uphold to continue to be in government. So it's like, damn, the shit, how we started it, we can't do that way the same way anymore. Yet the thing that come from it is how we allow to still reap the benefits of everybody's resources, though. So here's where we just get into needing a lot of other foreigners and other ethnicities to play the role, while white man could do some type of reverse psychology and still be in a position and cripple everybody or kill people from that way, from a throwing your rock high in your hand concept. Or so even if you have to make a platform and fake it, like it's all fake, it's all an act. Just let you know, like, viewership ain't real. Network views ain't real. It's white man having to create a game only they can win in. And it only leads to commentator. But that's the best thing they can do right now, so they can keep doing their profit or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the world we in at the moment. But I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Flight boss, bitch, you know. For sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Terry's Moon. I'm the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God's duties and motherfucking responsibilities. That's it. Love everybody.